The idea that there's really an infinite amount of universes and timelines, and that by changing your frequency, you can kind of jump onto a higher timeline or your best timeline. What are your thoughts on that? Is that something that you kind of believe is true?
Absolutely. And sound healing is all about frequency, right? And I have experienced myself when I do the sound healing sessions how people literally make these jumps. I did a session for a lady that was 6 years in her home, not being able to get out because of the anxiety she had. I did one session for her, one session. And in this session, she started singing with me. The day after, she sent me a video from the beach saying, Sonia, thank you so much for this. Look at me, I'm in the beach and I used to love the beach. I have been 6 years inside of my home. With one sound healing session, your very first session, you can get to the point where you could get after meditating for for a long time.
Sonia Gonzalez, welcome to the Awakening Soul podcast. How's it going today?
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure being here with you today.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you today. So, you're a opera singer, and a sound healer, a Reiki master. Let's get right into it. I want to just talk right about your story. As far as sound healing, do you think if you did not have that opera background, that you would be drawn to sound healing all the same?
I believe so, because the reason I entered into sound healing was not about being a musician or opera singer. And actually, when I was singing in big stages, I had huge problems because I could never sing in completely calmness. I was never able to give my 100% because there was so much happening inside of me. I'm so nervous. I was so in my mind that I couldn't give everything. And then later on, I realized that when we work with our voices, we're connecting with so many aspects inside of us that if we are not aware of that, it's overwhelming. So many times in stages, I was having this feeling that you become little, and everything is too big, too overwhelming. It was really, really scary. It was very scary. Even though it was like that, I still pushed through. But nowadays, I realized that I had to explore myself from other perspectives to be able to really be in my true voice. And the reason I entered into sound healing was because I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. That, by the way, it was Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which means that my body was attacking my thyroid, which is in the chakra of communication, right? So then I started working with sounds. Then I started exploring the healing properties of a sound and specifically of my voice. And had huge searches of healing energy that then I realized it was literally Kundalini awakenings happening. Very naturally, me just singing with a crystal ball alone in my home. And that Kundalini awakening slowly started making me really strong in my magnetic field, in my capacity to stand up for myself. But also, I was able to start connecting deeper with the quantum field. I started seeing life differently, seeing density in the air, sparkles of light, perceiving voices, connecting deeper with the heart and the heart of others. And it's been a beautiful process.
So you mentioned that you were having Kundalini awakenings, and for people who don't know, can you kind of explain what that is and what you experienced during that process?
Sure. Well, Kundalini is called in Hinduism this energy, this snake that is coiled in the root center and then starts moving. The energy is going upwards inside of the body and reaching all energy centers. And this can happen when we read a spiritual book. There is a little Kundalini awakening, right? If we start doing breath work, meditation, all these practices are so beautiful. They start awakening the Kundalini slowly, 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 and more and more and more. But what I have found is that with the voice is so powerful because our voices are designed for our bodies, right? For our structures, like makes sense. And when we start resonating with it with specific intentions, then the energy starts just surging in a way that is healing and, as I said, very empowering and beautiful.
This is actually the first time that I've actually talked to somebody about sound healing, and I always think it's interesting. So I haven't done anything with any singing bowls or anything like that, but something that I'm really big on is binaural beats and allowing that kind of that frequency to, equalize the brain hemispheres and be able to kind of take you to a different brainwave state. Is that kind of a similar thing that the singing bowls also do?
Yeah, I mean, there is a way to acoustically sort of create what binaural beats produce. When we use Tibetan bowls or crystal bowls and they start resonating with each other, then you start feeling actually those kind of beats coming to you. And then the brain waves start going from beta into alpha and then go into theta brainwave states. And this is where the body starts unleashing the self-healing properties. But also this is when we start having this feeling that we're here but we're not quite here, and the creative mind opens. We start receiving ideas, visions, and we start exploring ourselves beyond the body.
And you mentioned that you were feeling surges of healing while doing this. How long did this kind of take for you to completely heal? And what was your like regiment of healing throughout?
Yeah, well, I did also many things, right? Because I believe healing is holistic. So I took care of my diet, I was exercising, making sure I was having sunlight. But whenever I used the sounds, this is when I felt that I was having quantum jumps, you know. And at the beginning, it was very scary, to be honest. I even published a book in Spanish talking about my healing journey. I spoke in the book about Reiki, which also is something that I used by myself, but I wasn't able to speak yet about the sound because I myself I didn't understand it, and I didn't have anybody to talk about it. I live in Middle East. It was very difficult to find someone that would resonate with that. And the reason I'm saying it was scary is because I would start playing the ball and singing with it, and then my whole body would do this, you know. But then something told me just keep doing it. And the more I would do it, my yoga would do like this as well. It was incredible. And then I realized this is unblocking all the blockages that I had inside of me. So all the traumas, all the you know the need of keeping myself down just started going out and out and out. And you know it was sort of a purging effect as well. And it's when we are in that process is not easy. But it was super effective, and I'm so grateful that I was able to do it. And when I started, I never heard about sound healing or a crystal ball or anything, but something, just guided me to it. And I listened on YouTube to a crystal ball. And then my whole body, I had goosebumps. Like I resonated so much with that. And then I ordered one. And this is very intuitively, I just started singing with it because the sound was so delicious to me. And then, boom, a whole Pandora box opened.
Yeah, well, so you mentioned that this not only helped you heal, but it completely opened up your consciousness. Can you talk more about what that was like and what that process of kind of just opening up spiritually through this the sound healing bowls, what that was like?
Yeah, sure. Well, sort of all the senses started being activated, all the other senses, right? Not the physical ones. So I started seeing literally sparkles of light in 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 the space, and I would see like sort of like a matrix, like um, it's difficult to describe, but imagine,
Code, numbers.
yeah, yeah, sort of equations, and they would come and disappear and appear. So one of the way I interpreted this is like we start seeing the other universes that are parallel, because our electrons, they disappear right from the orbit and then go to the other one. So I said, what if I'm just having the experience of connecting with that parallel universe? It was just incredible to see. And then I was looking in the sky, and the birds would be there. And then I was trying to match the sparkles of light with the movement of the birds. It's one enter into a creative space that is so beautiful. Like I felt I was a girl again, just experiencing life from a different perspective. And I feel also this is part of the healing process, because then I'm not too much into the body. I'm connecting with my energy field, which we all have, right? And when we start connecting with this expanded consciousness, the body will follow, because this is our true uh, how you call it, scheme, let's say, our true design, right? Then I started seeing many dreams that were very, very vivid, and even lucid dreams. I was aware that I was dreaming inside of the dreams and remembering the dreams every single day. And even now, after 10 years after, I still do this practice. This is still alive for me. And yes, the voices I would receive in my mind and sometimes in my ears, they are not too common, but they come and they guide me and they tell me things that are about to happen. I prepare for them.
And that's so cool. So you talked about like the quantum physics part of everything and like parallel universes. This is an idea that I've recently like really thought was super cool, of the idea that there's really an infinite amount of universes and timelines, and that by changing your frequency you can kind of jump onto a higher timeline or your best timeline. What are your thoughts on that, and is that something that you kind of believe is true?
Oh, absolutely. And sound healing is all about frequency, right? And I have experienced myself when I do the sound healing sessions how people literally make these jumps. I give you an example. I did a session for a lady that was 6 years in her home, not being able to get out because of the anxiety she had. I did one session for her, one session. And in these sessions, she started singing with me. It's like, she connected with that innocence aspect of herself. The day after, she sent me a video from the beach saying, Sonia, thank you so much for this. Look at me, I'm in the beach, and I used to love the beach. I have been 6 years inside of my home. And I was like, wow, like, and, I have seen people very depressed getting out of depression, and I have seen many miracles, even cancer being healed. Happens all the time? No, but it happens. And, depends on divine alignment, depends on surrendering. There are so many factors, and we truly don't know exactly, right? I wish we had the question, put this and this and this, you're healed. But it truly helps. And this is my own experience.
You mentioned before we started recording about how you had always kind of been into meditation, but then the sound really like took everything to another level. Can you kind of describe, because I'm sure the sound is a meditation in itself, but can you kind of describe the differences between, a traditional meditation and then adding in the healing bowls?
Yeah, well, when we start toning with our own voices, this is the way I see it. The DNA start vibrating, and we start opening doors into the subconscious mind so quickly and so powerfully that we're really able to see our true self. And I believe when we work with our voices, we connect more and more with our authenticity, with our true heart. And this is a way of coming so quickly, instead of the mind being in the mind, being in the body, that we can make practices, right? We have breath work, we have yoga, we have so many practices that are so beautiful, and they bring us into our bodies. But when we feel the vibration of our voices going down, the bones start vibrating and then really opening information for us. And this is a journey I help people with, to understand their own information with the sound of their voices.
Have you ever heard of any of the people that you've worked with or even yourself going out of body during these types of sessions? Because we mentioned getting into a different brainwave state, and I know that I'm a huge I'm really interested in out of body experiences and how you can initiate those voluntarily. But this feels like something that resonating with that frequency and getting into that meditative state that you could very easily just completely blast off somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely. I have many, many stories. Even yesterday, I did a cacao ceremony for a group, and then we did a sound healing session afterwards, and they had this experience, and they connect with other planes, and they start feeling everything in that plane. So it's like a dream, but very vivid dream, that they really can feel the space they are, they can smell, they can, connect deeply, deeply with that plane. And yeah, it happens many, many times. And very easily, by the way. I always say that with one sound healing session, your very first session, you can get to the point where you could get after meditating for for a long time, let's say. I have people in first session never done something like this, never heard about it, no idea, and then they start seeing lights and they start really connecting with trance meditative state. And it's because of the binaural beats. It's because of how easy it is with the instrument to get you into that trance meditative state.
Do you find that it's an easier process for somebody who may be more of a beginner and kind of comes into it with very little expectations, or You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because I feel like sometimes when you try too hard in meditation or you try too hard with spirituality, nothing happens because you just have this expectation in your mind of, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm gonna get there no matter what, and that's kind of the opposite mindset that you need to have. Do you find that with people when they come to you, that if they've never done something like this before, they maybe have some of these more profound experiences than somebody who has more of that expectation coming in?
Yes, that's completely true. Because I feel that in order for us to connect with that aspect that is expanded of ourselves, we need to be in our hearts. It's like the innocence of the heart, to be children again. And then from there, we have access to the heavens, basically, right? If we are in our mind, I have this goal and I need to see this, I need to. Maybe you will. I'm not saying no, but normally when we surrender and don't have expectations, things happen. And not necessarily the first time, but they will happen for sure.
So how do we get into our heart space? Do you have exercises in addition to the bowls that you can help people understand? Because again, maybe somebody who's listening to this and doesn't really know what that means, going down into the heart space. Can you kind of explain that a little more?
Yeah, well, I have a beautiful process that I do every single day, which is you tone or even hum with your voice. So you inhale in the heart, and then when you exhale, you are humming, and then with your intention, you're going down through your body, but then even down into the heart of Mother Earth. And then you start connecting with the Mother Earth, which is all about unconditional love. And then from there, you inhale in Mother Earth because we're part of her. And then when the exhalation or toning, you come into the heart. And then you do the same, but then this time you go to the heavens. And you connect with Father Sun or Father Sky. And then when you tone, you come back. And in that way, you start being the channel of the love that they have for each other. Father, Son, and Mother Earth just experience a love through you. And it's a beautiful way to be in the heart. I'm telling you, I'm getting emotional because you really start feeling so much love that then, you are aligned. And when you do it with a voice, it's just incredible.
Do you need to be a visual person to kind of do this type of meditation of visualizing yourself going down to the heart space or down in the earth and then back up? Or is it kind of just a feeling?
You know, I feel it's more about the feeling. And feeling is actually the first sense that develops in the womb. When we're a fetus, many times we hear that is the sense of hearing, but it's actually the sense of feeling. We start feeling first the amniotic liquid and our skin. And I've gathered also people into singing. So, for example, I had a student that he was not able to sing in tune, which is okay, but he wanted to sing in tune, right? And then I played a note in the piano and told him, where do you feel this note in your body? And put the hands there. And now I want you to sing into that space. And whenever he did that, he reached the tone. He was completely in tune. And we both were like, wow. And why is that? Because this is our first sense, and that's why, touching, hugging, being close to our loved ones is so important. So yeah, it's feeling. When you do the exercise, you feel that you go down and you really feel that your energy is moving with your toning. And you will feel it anyways, because when you use your voice, the vibration inside of you, you feel it.
Okay, so this is just the analytical part of me asking. When you asked him, on the piano, where do you feel this in your body? Is there a right answer to that, or is it just more that he, wherever he's feeling it, sing from there? Like, to me, I'm thinking, if you asked me that question, I'd be sitting there like, where am I supposed to feel it? Am I supposed to feel it here? I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Is there a right answer to that, or is it more just, hey, where do you feel this, and sing from that place?
Yeah, is where do you feel it? And probably different notes, you will feel them in different places. So, yeah, and it's trusting, okay, maybe they don't feel it, but I, f- I think that might feel here, and then when you do it, it was actually there.
All right, so shifting just a little bit, you talked earlier about kind of getting into that inner child, and accessing that. Can you talk more about practical ways that you access that state?
Yeah, sure. Well, I actually take people into a journey where we use their voice, they use their voice to connect with different aspects of their inner child. And literally, they see themselves as a child, and then they embody the voices of that child into their sounds. And that is just incredible because I work with two different archetypes, the wounded child and the magical child. So the wounded child is the one that refers more to the lower chakras, right? The energy centers and lower in the body. But when we connect with the feelings of this child, this is when we start having the full body resonance of our body, of our voices. And this is when whenever we speak, whenever we sing, the other people's hearts start resonating with us. Because then we have compassion for our wounded child, we have compassion for ourselves, and then we're able to activate that compassion in the hearts of others. And when we connect with the magical child, which is more in this area, um, upper chakras, then we bring this elevation, happiness, joy, and creativity. And it's incredible to see how the sound of the voices changes when you do this exercise. So there are two ways to do it. One is connecting with the inner children, I call them, or another way is physically feeling it inside of your body. And then they're there for you, your children, I mean.
So take me through that process too. Before we started recording, we talked about the different sessions to kind of unblock the chakras. Take me through that process and what you do and how you help people unblock those energy centers.
Yes. So, first, I teach them how to open the voices as an instrument, as an inner instrument. So, because I'm an opera singer, then I told them, okay, how to open the instrument, which muscles you need to engage in order for you to access different parts of your body with your sounds. And then, for example, in the root center, I guide them how to tone with specific sounds. And then I take them in a process where they connect with their ancestors. They connect with the blockages, possible blockages that are coming from the lineages, but also with the gifts that are there. We have both positive and negative baggage. And then literally your ancestors start being in your voice, in your sound. They start being with you whenever you need them. It's a beautiful process. Then in the sacral chakra, also the beginning, let's say, is the same. We use another sound during specific time to open that center, sort of open it, the information like a book. And then we're able to see the possible blockages in the sexuality and their creativity. And we see in which way they are creative and how the creativity can help them into different areas of their lives. You know, creativity is so important for work or for family, for relationships, etc. Then in the solar plexus, we start connecting with the wild self. Even more, we start making the sounds of wilderness with a voice open in a specific way also. And we connect with the spirit animal. And it's very interesting that the spirit animal that comes normally is really the one that we need to incorporate the characteristics and is really helping us into moving forward in our journey. So these three centers, when we work in that way, they start sort of enhancing each other, working together. So the more we explore our wilderness, the more the sexuality will be healed, and the more we will honor our ancestors, because we are flesh and blood and bones, you know. The more we honor our humanness, the more we're able to access then our spirituality. And I believe it's so important because for many years in humanity we have been exploring our spirituality, like going out of the body, right? And reading and meditation and not eating, etc., which is okay. It was a journey and I did it myself. But when we bring that information into the body, then we start honoring really the 100% what we are, you know. We are energy, yes, and we are this wisdom. We are angelic codes as well, but we also have our flesh and our bones, and it's beautiful to honor the history of our blood. So then in the heart, we reach the inner child, and this is what I explained before. And again, beautiful to see how the voices, incorporating their voices into us, really help us to be in the hearts. And then in the throat center, I guide them into past life, which could be considered as well a parallel life, right? So there's no time, but okay. We experience linear time, so let's call it past life. And it's incredible to see that the past lives that they connect with is exactly the one they need to revise in order for them to unblock their communication. To unblock or to enhance or to really realize that, wow, I'm capable of way more, right? And then in the third eye, we connect with our star family. We start going into the skies. We are stardust, right? So in this exploration, we start connecting with the idea of light language. How speaking and exercising or having fun even with light language can help us to be in the present moment and can help us to connect with the quantum field. The more we exercise light language, the more we start seeing things, hearing things, and receiving insights, etc. And the last step would be connecting with the higher self. Higher self, we see also many parallel lives of the multiverse, we call them all, to come and bless us in our voice journey. And this then, really completes the whole program, which is just incredible, honestly.
Okay, so I want to go back really quick to something that you said, which is that there is no time. Now, for somebody who, again, might be watching this and is a somewhat of a beginner or hasn't really explored this, can you talk about what you mean when you say there's really no time?
Well, there is time and there is no time. So I believe in the idea of it's neither this or this, is both, right? So when we are in a human experience, yes, there is time. We see literally the time passing and we experience it like this. But when we go into our heart space and we start connecting with our spirituality and connecting with other aspects of ourselves, which we truly are, then we realize that we are really sparks that have been living since from ever and will live forever. Like, one of the law of thermodynamics is energy doesn't, how you say that in English, doesn't birth or die. It only transforms, right? So if you apply that to us, we are energy. Therefore, we have been living since forever, right? As a reflection of source. So then, in that sense, there is no time. Everything is present. Everything is what it is. But it's important for us as humans to experience time as well, so that then, well, we have these lessons, this practice, which is beautiful as well. I don't know if
Yeah,
that
and I've heard,
answers the
yeah,
question.
no, no, it does, and I've heard it explained too as by a guy named Darius J. Wright. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's an out of body explorer, and so he does all of these things and teaches people how to leave their bodies at will, kind of thing. And he's explained time as yes, as humans we experience time linearly, but on the other side, it's more like, if you view a deck of cards and then you view it from the top and you kind of just see down through, you see all the cards like that. That's kind of how time is set up rather than linear. And that's on the other side once we're out of the human existence. So totally, yeah,
Correct.
totally makes sense. Totally makes
Thank
sense.
you.
Um, So I want to talk too about this experience that you had that we spoke about before we started recording in 2022. But can you kind of explain what happened there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I told you before, this process also made me more aware of my dreams, having even lucid dreams. And in one of these dreams, that was in 2019, I received a message. I was in a big piazza that I knew it was sort of in Latin America, and it was written from right to left in lights in light. The next city you need to go is Quito, which is in Ecuador. And that dream was so impressive. Like, I was like, wow, what is this? It was truly, truly something that stayed with me. 2 days or 3 days after that, a friend called me. You know what? I dreamt about you, that I was taking you in Quito to sing. And I was like, wow, okay, I have another piece of the puzzle. Then, okay, COVID happened and many things happened. Actually, I lost my husband during COVID, so it was also very difficult times for me. But then after that, a friend of her contacted her and told her, listen, I was in a meditation and then I received a message that I need to help you and your friend to come to Quito. And I said, okay, let's make it happen, right? So, long story short, at the end we were a group of 13 that we were supposed, because we were receiving through our dreams and meditations and all, and synchronicities as well, more and more information about the mission. And this all came because I just started asking Mother Earth, I want to be of service. If my voice is helping in any way, please show me can I do, right? And then at the end we were 13, that we went into La Cueva de los Tallos, the Tallos cave in Ecuador. And we were there on February 22nd, 2022 at 2 p.m. And yeah, we did a spiritual work. We helped many souls to transcend. We understood that we needed to make this work. And it was so beautiful to see how all of us, without speaking, we were receiving the same images or ideas on how to do it. Many of us never done things like this before, but we were completely in sync without speaking even. And then I sang, and it was incredible to see that inside of the cave there were many places, including one with water that I saw exactly the same in my dream. And that night we stayed inside of the cave, and in the tent I was sleeping, and then I felt something, caressing my arm from outside the tent. And of course I was okay. I woke up and inside my tent I heard singing. That was literally like someone was just beside me singing. And then this was the way I connected. I realized we have made connection with extraterrestrials, beautiful beings. The way I connected with them was through listening to them, but some members of the group actually saw them. They were inside of the cave, around the lights that we had there, and it was something really, really beautiful, really beautiful. And even after that, I received in dreams a book that I needed to read. And the book was all about the gold that was before in the cave, that was taken out in the, I don't remember now, I'm very bad with remember dates, but I believe it was in the 60s, 70s, that many governments came and they took it out. And probably it was connected to some kind of technology, but yeah.
Wow. So I noticed that you mentioned when you said this, you said intraterrestrials, not extraterrestrials. Can you
Yeah.
explain, are those different things, or is that just your belief that, God, just explain the difference for me.
Yeah. It means that they live inside of the earth, in the caves, but there are beings that operate in other dimensions that are not like us. Like probably fifth dimensional beings that are there. And the way they communicated with us, that's why, was through sound and through seeing, or messages or images. When we were doing the cleaning of the cave, we all received this picture of how to do it, and we started doing it automatically. Like, there was some kind of connection there that was spiritual in nature, fifth dimensional. But yeah, I would say they are like the counterpart of extraterrestrials, but they are really inside of the earth.
Interesting. So we didn't talk about this before we started recording, but I've had sleep paralysis for probably 11 or so years, where I would wake up in the middle of the night but not able to move, and would feel something in the room or feel a being in the room. And there was this one experience that I had, and this is why I want to mention it, because I wonder if you've seen similar things, where I woke up and there were two really tall robed beings with, instead of normal heads, they had kind of like balls of light as their heads. Have you ever, because I think, but before we started recording, you mentioned they were really tall beings. Have you ever experienced or heard of anything like that?
Yeah, I have experienced these beings that have like amorphous beings. I have seen them with my inner eye, not outside, but I had a similar experience like you had, but with a reptilian that was in my room. I was very big, and my cat was going crazy with it. I honestly didn't feel it was bad energy. I really wanted to communicate. He was showing me like a screen, something like this, and I really wanted to explore what is this information, but my cat didn't allow it. So my cat was immediately like going around and then literally he started licking one part of my arm. I believe it was exactly here, and then I was feeling my energy body entering into my body through that part. It's just incredible how cats are connected to energies and they know so many things. And then I realized, okay, maybe it was not convenient for me to connect with that energy at this moment. It was something, yeah, incredible.
How interesting. I have heard that about cats, that they're able to kind of connect with the spiritual world, probably more so than other animals. But how interesting. Awesome. So, coming off of
I
that,
want to,
or that's, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, I wanted to tell you as well because I had another experience with,
Oh yeah,
I
please.
believe, extraterrestrial beings when I was in a meditation many years ago. And these were bird headed beings. And they taught me telepathically how to start singing, how to sing in another way. Because as an opera singer, I had all my, you know, learnings, right? How to sing in a specific way, all the techniques, etc. They were showing me another way. And then I started practicing with that. And nowadays my voice has more overtones. When I sing, you can hear other tone at the same time at the tone I'm singing. And this is what they taught me. It's just, you know, yeah.
What has been the craziest experience that you would not really believe unless it happened to you, that has happened to you? And it very well could be the story about the extraterrestrials in the cave. But is there anything else that has just been like mind blowing, and that it's like, okay, if I didn't experience this, I would definitely not believe me.
Okay, well, I will tell you the first that come to my mind because, you know, growing up, I had many experiences, right? Like in my family, my mom she has very beautiful blue eyes, and she used to get these infections in the eyes. The eyes will come very, very bad, and then nothing will help until she went to an energy healer. That I am from Venezuela, so the baggage there is using plants and prayers and all, and that went out, right? So I remember my dad, why are you doing this? You need to go to the doctors, and not allowing her to do it, but the doctors never helped. She needed to go to that curandero or healer. And then there was once when she did it, but then this came into me. Like sort of the energy somehow, whatever was causing that, came into me. And then I had the same, exactly the same. You know, the eyes infected, the pain was horrible. And then the healer said, okay, we need to put her a protection because then she's very connected to you. And that's why we took it out of her, but now came into me. And you know, when you have that kind of experience in being 9 years old, then you realize there's something else. There's something else going on here, you know?
Yeah, well, through all of my conversations with the I don't know, probably 50 or so people now that I've interviewed, um, that's really what I've gathered is okay, you don't need to believe in a certain belief or whatever. Like I don't want to try and convince somebody to believe a certain thing, but what I have gathered through all of my conversations is no matter what you believe, there definitely is something. There's something else going on, okay? And if maybe it's not what we've been taught or not what certain people believe, but there's definitely something else.
Absolutely.
So you've always really been a spiritual minded person since childhood. Were you spiritual before even that experience at 9 years old, or was that kind of the thing that started it off?
I was very religious actually. I studied in a Catholic school, was going to Mass every single Sunday, and I truly loved being that. And then I am a mechanical engineer, so I studied something very, very, into the mind. I did my master's and, very going to the corporate ladder and all. So for a while, I was in completely, into the mind, out of the heart. The goal of, what many of us try to reach in life. But spirituality was always there, like calling me. The hard thing is to believe that we are able to sustain ourselves through following that passion or that idea, the curiosity. And with everything that has happened to me, I realized that we don't need to make it so difficult for us. If we only follow our passion and follow what we like to do, which in my case is these kind of things. I love it. I love now connecting with energy, not from the mechanical engineering perspective, but more into feeling it into my body, understanding quantum field, understanding physics in another way. And this has sustained me. Yeah. So I think that, yeah, that's one of the struggles of humanity.
One more thing that we didn't bring up before when we were talking about the singing and the voice activation part of things is I feel equally as important is your breath. And you being an opera singer, I'm sure you know all about controlling your breath. How does that go into this practice of the sound and the voice activation? Where does the breath come into it?
Yeah, it's the very basic. We start by understanding how to breathe properly, which is the natural way, the way babies breathe, which is in the belly. And if we cannot have that connection, that natural way of breathing, then it's very difficult to really access our full body with our voices. So that's the very basic that I teach in the first session. Yeah, for sure, it's so important.
Amazing. Amazing. Sonia, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on today that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, maybe tell you about my next future, my next steps. I also received in dreams that I need to get out of Middle East. So now I'm going to be living in Spain, and I'm looking forward to whatever is there waiting for me. It's again huge leap of faith because in here I have my business, my clients, and everything. But I would say just trust, and everything is given, and trust the signs because in here, after the war happened and so many things, I more and more started feeling like pressure, like just need to go, need to go. So first came the dream, and then the reality is pushing me into it, and now I found a way to do it. which I'm very grateful for. So, yeah, I would suggest just get in touch with yourself, with your heart, with your innocence, and allow the universe to take you wherever you need to go.
Awesome. Where can people get in touch with you if they want to do a session or if they just want to chat or catch up with you?
Absolutely. I have my Instagram account, Sonia Celestial Sounds. I have also my website, celestialsonia.com. I'll be happy to, get into an online call and understand how may I serve best any improvement that they want in their lives. I would love to do that.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
I'm so grateful too. Thank you so very much and wishing you all the best also with your channel.